So, this video has been in the works for nearly 3 years, and wouldn't have been made if not for some stark realizations that pertain to the topic of discussion. The reason why this video took so long, despite knowing the contents of it and having the time and energy to do it. Something that I'm so passionate about, yet couldn't find myself with the ability to start any more than writing the title on a Google Doc. And that's when it hit me. The reason I resonate so deeply with characters and stories in fiction, and anime especially. It's the same reason that I couldn't start this video until right now. My passions had become disconnected from my skills, abilities, and talents. For the past decade of my life, I have aspired to create and share what I love with others. However, life circumstances have left me with such little time to pursue that dream, and it had been left to be just that, a dream, until recently. Just before the pandemic, I started casually watching Vtubers from Hololive, and at that time, the indie Vtuber Iron Mouse, and several others. And I, who had already fallen in love with idols from anime such as Love Live or Hatsune Miku of Vocaloid, could only fall deeper and deeper into the Vtuber rabbit hole that we all know it is. From high school onwards, I had already replaced most media consumed to be almost exclusively YouTube, Twitch, and the aforementioned anime. So, when the pandemic did hit, well, I was already in the place many others found themselves during lockdown, online, looking for that perfect something to distract ourselves from our situation. And little did I know, when I first found out, the likes of Iron Mouse, Aki Rosenthal, Kuzuha, that I had found the outlet to create that which I'd been longing for the better part of a decade. VTubing sparked the fire that had been long pushed further and further to the side, till it was barely in my periphery. This desire to be like the characters that I had grown up watching, and was seeing embodied again and again in the forms of these larger-than-life personalities and entertainers. A desire to share my passions with the people who felt the same way. As time was passing, life chained me to other tasks deemed more important. The space was changing, and everything in content creation was always growing, evolving, and improving. I am not someone who can be content with being mediocre. I cannot accept being anything but competent in the things that capture my attention. With my whole heart, mind, body, and soul, I yearn to become special, to further pursue that which is extraordinary and enter the lands populated with the talented and the geniuses of the world. But found that I simply came up short, lacking that which is perceived as special, natural, and gifted. Oh, they're just talented. They're just built different. I'm just not cut out for this. But those were just excuses I told myself to protect my egoistic and passion-driven mind, despite knowing that those excuses would do nothing to help me. But that's why when I watched Haikyuu for the first time, and every time I have rewatched and watched it since, I fell deeper and deeper in love with the story and its characters, because Hinata and several of the other characters reminded me of myself. Someone striving and chasing the thing they love most in this whole world, but struggling to do so. Hinata in the pilot episode of Haikyuu is entranced by the plays of the little giant, but lacked so many of the fundamentals of volleyball. Passing, serving, setting, etc. But that never deterred them in the slightest. Despite not having a team, not having all of the basics, they showed up every day, forcing people to notice his effort, his work, his passion. And ultimately, he found himself in the best environment to grow and nurture his capabilities. He had prepared, and opportunities present themselves to those who have prepared. That is what the former captain of Karasuno High volleyball team, Hidemi Tashiro, states watching his juniors play at nationals. And that one line started to reconnect what went wrong. That was why I didn't succeed. That was why I felt so unfulfilled despite getting exactly what I wanted. I hadn't prepared. I hadn't dedicated to it fully. I lacked the fundamentals. And in fact, I may still lack those fundamentals. I could name off all of the thoughts and excuses I had for why my content before didn't succeed. I wasn't born talented. My voice is garbage. Whatever other banal reason. But the truth was simple, and I knew it. Not even that deep down. My content was just awful. And while the first is yet to be seen, the others are all things within my control to change. Now we could debate whether or not talent exists in this world, but Kita Shunsuke says it better than I ever could. There are plenty of guys in this world who we are no match for, and it's natural to find people like that amazing. I think being able to dive headfirst into things is a talent in and of itself, and it doesn't matter what you call them. It's not like genius is an insult, but if you're thinking they're geniuses from the start, that just means you've lost before you've even had a match with them, and it's rude. End result is that it's disrespectful to write off someone as a genius, gifted, or talented, while people that are better than you may have been better than you all along. Perhaps you didn't see the years of blood, sweat, and dedication to exceed in this field, which is the reason I am of the mind that while talent could exist, it is much more likely that talent is just practice you haven't seen. And that's what caused the disconnect. In my passions to my abilities, I lost sight of what I should have known all along, that none of the amazing and wonderful creators are just talented or gifted. There's always so much more beneath that which is seen. And so that's what I did. I saw underneath the underneath and actively sought to improve. That's why I started this video again, this time properly. Because if I don't start now, how will I know where I stand and where to improve? It would be a waste to let this passion fizzle and die. After all, why should this be my limit? How could I let this be where the line is drawn? I didn't let myself lament at being awful at Apex or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Why despair over the quality of my streams and content in general, as if this is where my ego and passion could hit a wall? And like Kawa's mentor effectively scolds him for the same thing that I was doing. We let ourselves get swept up by those who appeared more talented. And he told us this: have you found the limits of your abilities? Even though your technique, physique, and mental resolution are all still lacking. Those who are naturally talented than you or possess something which surpasses your abilities have been on a different level all along. It's foolish to devote all of your time and energy bemoaning the fact that it is impossible to overcome that difference. No matter how hard you work, how well you strategize, or who your teammates are, you can complain about that only when you've done actually everything you possibly can. Rather than despairing and giving up because you're not a genius, believe your strength is not limited to this and continue on the path straight ahead of you. I had let myself believe that I hit my limits so soon. Even more frustrating than letting myself stunt my own passion, I stopped myself short of things that would let myself struggle and could grow from, or just ignore some of the things that could lead to some real, tangible results. As if I am so blessed to have the time to waste looking down, thinking that this is as far as I can go. Where did my pride and ego go? Where did my excitement go? Where did the fire go? Where did I get off thinking that I could sit back and not work? There's taking it easy, and then there's being stagnant and stubborn. When did I become so complacent? The process matters more than the results, that is certain. But when did I let my processes fall by the waysides? How could I let myself think that the grind was over? It's barely started. So no more. Results will come, but only if effort is made. And once the effort is made, I can fully be prepared to seize the opportunities presented to me. This isn't my limit. I simply won't let it be. I'll push them further and further as I keep moving forward. I want to be special. I want to improve. I want my passion to burn until I can truly feel despair when I can no longer create and share what I love with all of you. I won't need the memories. They'll become a part of me, like everything else up till now. I want to reconnect my abilities and passions. I want to fly.